He died with over $8 million in his bank account. No debts, no major expenses, a perfectly planned financial life. He also died without ever seeing Japan, without ever writing that novel, without ever taking his daughter on that trip. She begged for it when she was 10. He did everything right. He saved. He worked hard. He waited for the right time. But the right time never came. And now he's gone. His money is untouched. His memories unmade. This is not a finance story. It's a story about regret, about how most of us are saving for a life we may never get to live. Bill Perkins calls it the ultimate failure, not dying broke, but dying rich and empty. This video is not here to help you save more. It's here to help you live more. The lie we've been sold. Since childhood, we're taught the formula: work hard, save diligently, delay gratification. One day, if you do everything right, you'll retire rich and finally enjoy life. But no one tells you that by the time you can afford the trip, your knees might hurt too much to hike. No one warns you that energy has an expiration date. And no one explains that someday is not a day on the calendar. We've been sold a dream of financial safety, but it often becomes a life of emotional starvation. Most people live like their life is a dress rehearsal for the real show, but this is the show. This is it. Bill Perkins calls out the myth: saving money is not the goal. Having money when it no longer improves your life is just hoarding. Yet many people will continue to accumulate numbers in their bank accounts, as if there's a scoreboard at the end of life. There isn't. The real score is how deeply you lived and how little you regretted. Who is Bill Perkins, and why does this hit differently? Bill Perkins isn't your typical personal finance expert. He's not telling you how to retire early or budget better. He made his fortune as a hedge fund manager and professional poker player. But what makes his message powerful is that he actually lived both extremes. He had more money than he could ever spend, and still felt something was missing. This book is not about spreadsheets. It's about life planning. It's about regret prevention. It's about making decisions today, so you don't die with a full bank account and an empty heart. The philosophy: die with zero. The core idea of this book is as bold as it sounds. You should aim to die with zero. $0, zero regrets, zero missed experiences. That doesn't mean being reckless. It means being intentional. It means using your money to create the richest life possible, not the richest death. Most people focus on not running out of money before they die. Perkins flips the question: what if you run out of life before you run out of money? The goal isn't to be the wealthiest person in the cemetery. It's to extract the maximum value out of your time, energy, and health while you still have them. That means spending money on experiences that create memories. That means giving to your kids when they need it, not when you're gone. That means planning your life not just around security, but around joy, connection, and meaning. Dying with zero doesn't mean you failed. It means you timed it right. Time, health, money, the trap. There are 3 ingredients you need to enjoy life fully: time, health, and money. The problem is, you almost never have all 3 at once. When you're young, you have time and health, but no money. In middle age, you finally have some money, and your health is mostly intact, but time becomes a luxury. Later in life, you might have time and money, but your health starts to fade. Most people build their lives around maximizing their bank accounts, thinking they'll enjoy the rewards later. But by the time later comes, the cost of waiting is clear. You can't backpack through Asia at 70 the way you could at 30. You can't dance with your partner in Paris if your body won't let you stand. And you can't relive the moments you missed with your kids, because you were too busy earning to notice they were growing. Bill Perkins calls this the trap, and the only way to escape it. It is time to start planning your life around the intersection of those 3 things. Not someday, but now. Memory dividends. Most people invest for financial returns, but Bill Perkins says the best return on investment isn't money, it's memory. When you spend money on an experience, you don't just enjoy it once. You enjoy it again and again every time you remember it. That's what he calls a memory dividend. A trip you take in your 30s keeps paying emotional dividends in your 40s, 50s, and beyond. The earlier you invest in meaningful moments, the more time you have to enjoy the return. That concert with your best friend. That week, you took your parents somewhere they had always dreamed of. That trip with your kids before they left home. These are not expenses. They are emotional assets. And unlike money, their value grows with time. So if you're waiting for the right moment to live finally, you're not just missing life. You're missing compound interest on joy. The delayed life fallacy. We're told that discipline means waiting. Smart people delay gratification. That now is for work, and later is for life. But what if later never comes? What if your health changes, or your priorities shift, or the people you love are no longer here? Bill Perkins refers to this as the delayed life fallacy, the belief that you can put life on layaway and pick it up when you're ready. But life doesn't work like that. Opportunities expire, energy fades, and time never gives refunds. You don't get to redo your 30s and your 50s. You don't get to make memories with your kids once they've grown. You don't get to rewind. Yes, there's wisdom in planning, but there's also a risk in postponing joy for too long, waiting for the right time. It is often just a socially acceptable way of never starting. Design your experience curve. If you can plan your retirement, you can plan your life. Bill Perkins introduces the idea of an experience curve. It's a timeline of your life designed around the peak moments you want to live, while your health, time, and money are still aligned. Instead of working backward from death, you work forward from now. You ask questions like, when is the best age to hike the Andes? When should I take that dream trip with my parents while they're still able to travel? When will my kids be old enough to remember a big adventure, but still young enough to want me there? Then you match those answers with action. You budget not just dollars, but decades. Not just expenses, but energy. Most people let life happen to them. They follow routines, obligations, and what everyone else is doing. But the experience curve flips the script. You become the designer of your life arc. Because if you don't plan your peak moments, you'll likely miss them. Give when it matters. Most people plan to leave their money to their children or charity upon their death. But Bill Perkins asks a better question. Why wait? If your kids are struggling in their 20s, will an inheritance at 60 really change their life? Or would $10,000 today help them escape debt, start a business, or pursue further education? If you believe in a cause, why let it wait until your funeral? Why not see the impact with your own eyes? While you're still here to enjoy it, giving now is not irresponsible. It's strategic, because money has more power when it meets the moment, and that applies to joy as well. Don't just plan to use your wealth, plan to experience its effects through the lives of the people you love, while you're still alive to share it with them. The net worth trap. Tracking your net worth can be helpful, but it can also become a trap. Bill Perkins warns that many people become obsessed with the number. They watch it grow like a high score in a game, forgetting that there's no prize at the end. The trap is subtle. You start to believe that more is always better, that spending is a weakness. Holding on to money is the same as holding on to security. But a rising net worth doesn't always mean a rising quality of life. It often means you're holding back, postponing experiences, and missing the point. Your net worth is not your life score. Your memories are, and they don't show up on a bank statement. Emotional pivot. What will you regret? Imagine it's the final week of your life. You're lying in bed, not thinking about your portfolio, but about your memories. What will you wish you had done sooner? Where would you wish you had gone? Who will you wish you had spent more time with? Most regrets aren't about what we did. They're about what we never got around to doing. The things we postponed, the moments we assumed would always be there. Bill Perkins wrote this book to prevent that silence, to stop you from reaching the end with a full account and an empty heart. So ask yourself now, before it's too late, what are you saving for? And what is it costing you? Here's your challenge. Take a look at your savings, your calendar, and your bucket list. Now ask yourself, what's one experience you've been putting off? What could you do this year? Drop it in the comments. No filters, no explanations. Just one thing you'd regret not doing. Say it out loud. Then plan it. You don't need to die with millions. You need to die with meaning. You've learned why time, health, and money rarely align, why experiences pay memory dividends, and why waiting for later is often the biggest risk of all. Your life isn't a spreadsheet, it's a story, and you get to choose how full it feels. If this message hits home, watch our next video on The Psychology of Money by Morgan Housel. It's the perfect follow-up. And if you're ready to live, subscribe. The countdown has already started.